Since the dawn of time, man has had an inexplicable desire for breaking the rules, going where one isn't supposed to. From Adam and Eve with the forbidden fruit, to Panfu walking on walls glitch 2011, humans always want to go where no man has gone before, to a point no man should ever reach. And while I'm sure there's some deep philosophical discussion to be had here, I'm going to relate that to Minecraft and its fabled Farlands. The Farlands are a game-breaking anomaly over 12.5 million blocks away from your spawn point, a phenomenon that you would ordinarily never encounter when playing the game. In fact, though millions know of the glitch, only one man has ever seen it in person without the use of glitches, hacks, or commands. So, in today's episode of Minecraft Uncovered, I want to take a look at the origins of the Farlands, the journeys to visit them, and the total breakdown of the game that happens in the process. What are the Farlands? If you've been actively involved with the Minecraft community at any point throughout the last decade, you're probably familiar with the term. It's become so infamous, it's even spread outside of Minecraft and into other games, making appearances as a chapter in Minecraft Story Mode and a classic mode route in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. But the general knowledge of the Farlands is something like, oh, it's a weird thing where the map gets all glitchy when you go really far away. So what actually are the Farlands? The Minecraft fandom wiki defines the Farlands as a terrain bug that appears upon the overflowing of a noise generator, but that doesn't mean much to anyone unfamiliar with Minecraft's code, so let me break it down for you. A noise generator is a technical circuit that produces electrical noise, like the static you see on TV when there's nothing on. In Minecraft and lots of other games, these noise generators are used for making random terrain, which allows for the famous infinite worlds of Minecraft. But they aren't truly infinite, and the Farlands are a perfect example of what happens when you go too far. See, as with almost everything in Minecraft, noise generators are made up of 2s. 2 to the power of 6 is 64, or 1 stack. 2 to the power of 8 is 256, the 8-bit limit, which is why even glitched items max out at 255. And when you take this all the way to the extreme, the game begins to break. At 2 to the power of 31, you reach the 32-bit limit. 2,147,483,647. Divide that by Minecraft's noise multiplier of 171.103, and don't worry, that won't be on the test, and you get the coordinates to the Minecraft Farlands, 12,550,824. When you cross the invisible border of the Farlands, the code for Minecraft's terrain overflows, and it begins to repeat itself again and again, causing the strange tunnels and crevices that stretch out for hundreds of billions of blocks. But not forever. See, the fun doesn't stop when you reach that first limit. No, Minecraft is a little more broken than that. Travel out just past 1 trillion blocks and you reach the Fartherlands. Exactly 80 times further from spawn than the Farlands as a result of an 80 times noise scale, the Fartherlands stretch on ever longer until eventually Minecraft itself reaches its limit and crashes. Today, the Farlands have been patched out of the game and can only be reached by editing the game's code, but for years, the Farlands were one of the grandest sights in the entire game. That is, if you could even get to them in the first place. The journey to the Farlands is not an easy one. Yes, of course 12.5 million blocks does already sound a little further than a long walk to the nearest village, but in practice, it would take about 800 straight hours of constant movement to reach the Farlands, and that's a best case scenario estimate. Throw in hostile mobs at every turn and huge chasms, lava pools, mountains, and oceans to avoid, and that time doubles, then triples until suddenly you're spending a few thousand hours in pursuit of the fabled Farlands. But aside from the typical setbacks of a Minecraft journey, traveling to the Farlands comes with its own unique set of problems. 2,048 blocks, a corrupted hitbox. The struggles begin at just 2048 blocks. Here, block hitboxes begin to distort and corrupt, becoming difficult to target and progressively unrecognizable until eventually they disappear entirely. Though by this point you'd have long since passed through the Farlands, and Minecraft would be too stressed to run any longer, causing the game to crash. 16,384 blocks. Visual rendering precision loss. Just over 16,000 blocks out now. As we continue to move farther into the world, we begin to notice movement becoming slightly jittery, and it becomes difficult to place or break blocks with any level of accuracy. With our coordinates climbing higher and higher, Minecraft's visual renderer loses precision, and these stutters and offsets double in intensity for every multiple of 2 our coordinates pass. An unknown number of blocks. Autonomous entity duplication. Though the glitch hasn't been extensively studied, gravity blocks like sand and gravel begin to duplicate at high distances, potentially generating thousands of entities automatically. Combined with the falling block entities themselves, this can cause extreme frame loss and server lag, even crashing the game on weaker computers. Various distances. Visual distortions. Additionally, the visuals in the game begin to distort heavily as your distance from spawn increases. Particles begin to separate from their sources, water and lava begin to stretch, falling blocks begin to snap next to solid blocks, partial blocks like walls and rails begin to expand and contract while others lose collision, boats are misplaced, and much more. Travel becomes confusing, slow, and unenjoyable. No, the journey to the Farlands is not one of leisure. Not for fun, not a casual trip to spot an interesting glitch. The trek is a grueling one, fraught with setbacks of every sort, and the explorers determined to see it must be ready. If you don't prepare, you will join the thousands of others that have failed. But if you do, you could join the only man alive to have reached the Farlands. Enter Kurt J. Mack. In the Minecraft community, Kurt is hailed as a legendary figure in the history of the Farlands. Since 2011, he's trekked millions and millions of blocks, all in the pursuit of reaching the fabled Farlands. He's tracked his progress through an online series known as Farlands or Bust, which currently has over 800 episodes of Kurt running through the world and giving updates on his life in the world around him in a sort of a podcast-like manner. The series has raised roughly $500,000 for charity and even scored him a Guinness World Record in late 2014 for the longest journey in all of Minecraft. His journey began on March 6th of 2011, and over 9 years later, the Farlands were finally reached. But not by him. See, while Kurt has been quietly, consistently chipping away at the millions of blocks needed to reach the Farlands, a few smaller, lesser-known individuals were right there with him. Scenic, who traveled for about half a year before stopping at 3.1 million blocks in November of 2020. Tinfoil Chef, who started back in November of 2012 and last updated his journey on January 21st of this year, at probably a few million blocks in as well, though we don't know his current position. And Kilo Crazy Man, who started just 2 years ago on September 8th of 2019. While Kurt J. Mack's series had taken the internet by storm, and Tinfoil Chef already had a sizable audience from his Hermitcraft series and vlogs, Scenic and Kilo were much smaller creators, both having just a few hundred subscribers on YouTube throughout their journeys. But for one of them, that's what all changed. See, Kilo and Scenic took things a bit more seriously than Kurt or Tinfoil Chef. For those two, it was casual, laid back, just for fun. For Scenic and Kilo, it wasn't just a fun pastime, it was a challenge both of them accepted. Kilo started early in late 2019 and started pumping out 2.5-hour episodes nearly every day, even adding a few livestream marathons in there that would clock in at over 24 hours each. Scenic started nearly half a year later in April of 2020, but grinded even harder, often streaming for 10, 11, 12 hours a day during the peak of the COVID-19 lockdown. By the middle of 2020, the race was on. Who would be the first to reach the Farlands? Would it be Kurt, the pioneer of the Farlands journey? Tinfoil Chef, one of the most respected members of the Minecraft community? Or one of the newcomers, who were speedrunning the journey faster than anyone before them? Well, on June 19th of 2020, we would get our answer.
I got 100 away. About to see it. Yeah! Oh, fuck yeah! Oh, this! Yeah, dude! Look at that! Fuck yeah!
Kilo Crazy Man became the first man to ever walk to the Far Lands, completing his journey in less than a year after nearly 1,000 hours of travel. The Minecraft community congratulated him, and he enjoyed his time in the spotlight before his channel went dark in December of last year. But even with most of his journey having gone private, and some having gone missing altogether, the amazing accomplishment of Kilo Crazy Man will never be forgotten. Thank you all for watching the video, and I hope you very much enjoyed it. For anyone that's subscribed, I do want to apologize for the slower uploads recently. Life's just been busy, and it's hard to balance school and YouTube and home life and the social life, so I'm sure you can understand the struggle. And I've also been spending a lot of time working on the actual setup for videos. I just got a new monitor, I set up multiple monitors, I set up my new microphone, and I actually have like a decent setup for it now, so video quality is definitely going to be improving. I do have a ton of videos underway as well. I've actually been working on videos all this time, but I've just been going back and forth between them instead of actually finishing and uploading them one at a time. So you'll probably see a big burst of uploads right around the time this video goes out. I'm not even sure this will be the first of those videos yet, but I figured that an explanation was in order. Either way, thanks again for sticking with me. I very much appreciate all the support, and at the time I'm finishing the script, the channel just hit 50k, which is absolutely insane. When I started the channel, my goal was 10,000 subscribers, and I expected that to take at least another year from now to reach. Now, at over 5 times that, I'm genuinely astounded at the growth, and from here, the sky's the limit. I'm starting a project now that I hope to release at around 100k, and I think you guys will really enjoy it when it is ready. But for now, here's to ending the year right and starting 2022 off with a bang. Have a good one, guys. Peace.